Hey guys, welcome back to the United Star, and I'm in shock to be honest because I didn't expect us making this video, especially with the way United had started off this season since the return from COVID. But here we are; it's going down to the final day, Prasham, and it's very interesting to see how things are placed because there are four teams that more or less are deciding which teams move forward into Europe, right? Because we're looking at two specific games, but there is a third game that I would also like to mention. The first game is United versus Leicester, and the second game is Chelsea versus Wolves. That more or less decides who enters into the Champions League. But a third game that I want to mention is Spurs versus Crystal Palace, because Wolves and Spurs are just 1 point adrift, and the winner more or less goes into Europa. So it's quite the weekend that we're looking forward to. Prashant, what's your take on it? For the first time, United in the top four after September. We're just lucky. Do you think we stick around? What's your take?
So I think Vishesh, the possibilities are quite literally endless here. There are so many permutations and combinations that can take place. So straight off the bat, I don't think United are lucky. I think they've worked incredibly hard to cut down the points gap and actually be above Leicester and Chelsea. And obviously, Leicester and Chelsea also have slipped up, but then that's the same way that we can say that we were slipping up in the start of the season. They're doing it now. So in terms of the possibilities, the first possibility is that United beats Leicester and Chelsea beats Wolves, and United and Chelsea both sail through to the Europe places with United, of course, finishing above Chelsea in third place, unless, of course, Chelsea have like a dramatic 14-0 victory, which I don't see happening. So that's the first possibility. In my view, it is also the most likely possibility. I think that United will beat Leicester and Chelsea will edge past Wolves. I think both games will be very close, but that's the most likely possibility in my head. The other possibility, of course, is that United draws to Leicester, securing our qualification, and then it depends on what happens in the Chelsea Wolves game, right? So if Chelsea lose to Wolves, then of course Leicester will go through based on a superior goal difference. But if Chelsea draw to Wolves, then Chelsea will go through as fourth, or if they win, then Chelsea goes through as third. But that possibility I see as a lesser likelihood of happening because, as you said, Wolves is also playing for Europe. So in my head, I think that the Chelsea Wolves game is more likely to be a close win for Chelsea, such as a 2-1 or possibly even a draw. So for Leicester's sake, the best result is to get a win, of course, but which I think won't happen. But a draw for them and a draw for Chelsea against Wolves would a loss for Chelsea against Wolves would ensure Leicester qualification. So I think it's the hardest for Leicester to qualify here because not only unless they beat us, of course, unless they beat United, because then they have to rely on Wolves absolutely beating Chelsea. Otherwise, nothing goes there in their way. But the way Chelsea are playing, they like their attacking style of football, right? But against Wolves, I think it will be a little bit more stifled and they won't have that much freedom. So I think that game is in fact more crucial than the United Leicester game because I feel that there is more chances of things going wrong there for Chelsea. So in my view, like I said, the possible scenario is a draw for both United and Chelsea, and both go through as third and fourth. Like that seems like the most probable thing. You mentioned Tottenham. I think Tottenham will qualify for Europe because as I said, Chelsea and Wolves. I see the most likely result is a draw, and Spurs has the easiest game against Palace. And if they win that, they will be sitting in that sixth spot if Wolves draw. So I think that's what the third, fourth, fifth, sixth place will look like with Manchester United at third, Chelsea in fourth, Leicester will finish in fifth, unfortunately, and Spurs will finish in sixth, with Wolves dropping out to seventh.
That's really interesting, and we have covered a lot of the situations, but there is another situation that we haven't considered that United lose to Leicester and Chelsea win, in which case we drop down
Yeah.
to fifth. And with the way that we played against, West Ham, and with the lads seeming so tired, that's not out of the equation. That has to be given a certain
So,
amount of importance.
so Vishesh, in that case, there are two scenarios again. If United lose to Leicester and Chelsea win, then of course United drop to fifth. Leicester will move to fourth place, and Chelsea will take the third spot. However, if United lose to Leicester and Chelsea also lose to Wolves, which again I repeat that I think Chelsea losing to Wolves is a greater possibility than United losing to Leicester. So if Chelsea also lose to Wolves, then we sail through. Then we sail through back to Europe. So as like we said at the top of the video, there are so many permutations and combinations where different teams losing and drawing will result in a combination of two different teams qualifying for Champions League. My ideal case scenario, if I was to say, is a draw for United, because then Leicester would go back to 63 points, and a loss for Chelsea, and Chelsea with all these mega signings don't get Champions League next season. That will be impressive.
That
And
would be
but what
interesting.
I think will happen is United will draw to Leicester and Chelsea will draw to Wolves, and both these teams will qualify for the Champions League, and Leicester unfortunately will drop down to fifth place.
Yeah, that's very interesting because I think this is the first time where it's going down to the final day since the title victory that City had over United. It's not anyway close to that because that was for the title and this is for Champions League, but it is that exciting when we think about it. So while we've touched upon top four and we've seen all the permutation and regulations and discussed it, I want to quickly discuss another thing, that is Aston Villa have a chance to survive relegation with them playing. Who are Aston Villa playing? I think Aston Villa are playing West Ham and Watford play Arsenal. So again, Arsenal playing a key role in this game.
So, Vishesh, in this, I think that right now, suddenly Aston Villa are in pole position. And what has to be mentioned here is that Aston Villa are only here because of that goal which was disallowed for Sheffield on the first day of restart. If you remember, there was a blatant goal and they would have been on 32 points instead of 34 points right now. So, I think that is
Yeah,
an
they would have been on
incredible
33,
injustice
right?
that if
Yeah,
Watford
they would
can
have
get.
been on 33 because they drew that game. So it's 1 point reduced.
No, they would have lost that game, right? They got a point from the
Oh, okay,
draws.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so if they lose that game, they lose 1 point, right?
They lose 2 points.
For a draw, it's 1 point, no? Prashant?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, they would have been on 33. You're right.
Yeah.
Uh, so on 30, but what I'm saying is that Watford will be done a great injustice here because of technology, and that has to be taken into account. But that's for another day. For right now, I think Villa are in pole position to qualify because Watford. I don't understand why they sacked Nigel Pearson because he had got the most points since he had taken over in the bottom half of the teams, and it's shocking that they sacked him. And I don't think that they will get a result against Arsenal, to be very honest, because Arsenal lost that game, lost to Villa, right? And I think they also would want to end the season on the high, and there is an outside chance that they can finish in eighth place. And right now they're in the 10th spot. So if they lose that game, they will finish 10th, and that will be a horrible season for Arsenal. So I think Arsenal will go all out for this game. The only consideration is that they might rest players for the cup, and Watford might get lucky. But in my view, I think Villa will are in pole position and will go through on goal difference. I don't think that they will beat West Ham. I think they might get a draw at West Ham, and then if that happens, then they will be clear from the relegation zone. If it doesn't happen and Villa lose to West Ham, then even Bournemouth have an outside chance because they're playing Everton, which is a very lackluster team right now. So in that case, if Villa lose 1-0 and Bournemouth win 1-0, then Bournemouth and Villa will be on the same goal difference, and then it will go down to more goals scored.
And
But
I think Villa go through based on that.
in that case, Villa goes through, yes. So I in fact think the battle is more between Villa and Bournemouth rather than Watford and Aston Villa. That is my personal opinion. That I think Bournemouth will get some sort of a result against Everton, and I don't think Watford has it in them to get a result against Arsenal. To be very honest.
That's very interesting. I think we can again say that the relegation battle is as interesting as the top four battle, if I'm not mistaken. It's never been so close before in recent years. So I'm just going to quickly sum it up and then ask you three questions in specific. So we've said it'll be United and Chelsea who qualify for top four. And if you had to pick anyone getting safe right now, it's Villa. I'm just going to now throw a full bomb at you. Who wins the most goals? Who gets the golden boot and who gets the golden glove?
I think Golden Glove will go to Nick Pope. I think he is in pole position to take it. I don't see. I know there are a few people who are close in sort of Dean Henderson is quite
I think
close.
Edison is tying with him on 15. I think
Edison is tying with him, yes. But I think Pope will get it. Pope will do it eventually. Because I mean the Chelsea team against Norwich, they're probably going to rest players. I feel so. Maybe Edison and Pope both get it, but I'm hoping Pope gets it. To be very honest, I think he deserves it the way he's played this season. And Golden Boot, I think the race is already over in my head. I think Jamie Vardy is already taken it because Danny Ings is 2 goals away from Jamie Vardy. He might tie for it, but I don't see it happening. I don't see him scoring 2 goals. Aubameyang needs a hat trick. Salah needs 4. Sterling needs 4. Not gonna happen. I don't even see Salah starting in the last game, to be very honest. So I think it's gonna be Vardy and Pope.
so. Guys, that's about it. Here are our predictions. Let us know what you think the top four in the relegation battle will look like in the comments below. And hopefully, we see you on the 26th with United playing Champions League next season rather than Europa again.